Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki. Let us move on to verse number 20. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam Pashyan atmani tushyati. Translation: when the mind, restrained from material activities, becomes still by the practice of yoga, then the yogi is able to behold the soul through the purified mind, and he rejoices in the inner joy. Presently, our mind is impure. It is like water in a tumbler that is muddy. Likewise, all kinds of thoughts and desires are arising in the mind. They could be in the category of anger, greed, desire, hatred, tension, anxiety. This is the muddy state of the impure mind. In that state, we are unable to realize that we are not the mind. That is why majority of humankind takes their thoughts too seriously. I am thinking like this. Oh no, I thought like this. Their thoughts, they pay too much attention to these thoughts. They forget thoughts are being created by the mind. And they are distinct from the mind, they are the soul. The impure mind is uncontrolled. It will create all kinds of thoughts. Scientists have estimated that in a day, 50,000 thoughts pass through our mind. These thoughts could be good, could be bad, could be fearsome, could be negative. And the problem is that most people's thoughts are mainly negative. What if this happens? I hope that doesn't happen. This happened so bad. She said this to me, how awful. And those negative thoughts start repeating again and again and again. So imagine the state of tyranny that they cause. They steal away all your happiness. They distract your focus and effectivity, your positive optimism and hope. So these thoughts become the reason for all kinds of miseries. And people realize the thought is not beneficial. But they feel helpless in their ability to put it aside. The more they wish to put it aside, the stronger the thought becomes. One Daniel Wegner, he stated the ironic effects theory. He said, if you tell your mind, I should not think like this, then one portion of the mind becomes the operator. Don't think like that, don't think like that. The other portion becomes the monitor. Am I thinking like that? So this monitor is just a little outside your conscious awareness. And if the operator becomes weak, then the monitor becomes strong. And that very thought you wanted to avoid starts impinging on your mind even more. One lady came to me, Swamiji, I am in a terrible state. I said, what is it? I have just become a mother. I have got a 1-month-old baby. So I said, what is the problem? Swamiji, you will not believe the problems my mind is creating. I said, is your mind thinking of picking the baby and slamming it against the wall? Arey, how did you come to know? Now what happened here was that the mind keeps on creating thoughts, good, bad, useless, futile, useful. These thoughts are like the birds passing in the sky. The next moment they'll be gone and other birds will be coming. But in all those thoughts, one thought came up, what if I were to lift the baby and slam it against the wall? If she had not paid attention to the thought, the next moment it would be gone. But it went against her deepest values. She cherishes the self-interest of the baby more than anything else. And this thought has gone against. So she paid attention to it. Oh, I thought like that. Oh! And now the thought got riveted and became more energized, growing in strength. So it's becoming stronger and stronger, the very thought that she doesn't wish to think. And she came to me, Swamiji, I am thinking this thought. As if against my will. I said, you are not thinking the thought. Your mind is thinking the thought. You are not the mind. You are the soul. That's the first piece of knowledge the Bhagavad Gita gives. You have a mind. And that mind presently is untrained. So it creates varieties of thoughts. The mind is not you. The mind is like a little child. So what does the child want? What does a 3-year-old want? A 3-year-old's life's goals are very clear and simple. I want pleasure and I don't want pain. Whenever it comes to that critical point, the child, oh, Mummy! Why is the child crying? I want to maximize my pleasure and minimize my pain. Likewise is your mind as well. This mind is like the little child. It has got 2 goals. Maximize pleasure in the here and now and minimize the pain. The mind will never say, do tapasya, it will be good for you. The mind will say, to hell with meditation, watch Netflix. The intellect will say, Arey Baba, watching Netflix, what are you going to get? Why don't you grow yourself from inside through some meditation? Now the fight will start between the intellect and the mind. Like every morning when you wake up, the fight begins. The alarm rings. The mind says, I was getting so much of pleasure, why did the alarm ring? The intellect says, there are so many works to do. The mind says, there is a snooze button on the alarm. The intellect says, what if I miss out? Chalo, never mind, the intellect gives in, let's do a snooze once. So this fight is happening all day long. The point to note is, the mind is not to be trusted. Now, if you forget that you are not the mind and you think you are the mind and the mind is creating thoughts and you are taking your thoughts too seriously, you are setting yourself up for disaster. Sometimes it becomes so serious, people go mentally off balance also. Why? Taking their thoughts too seriously. So what do enlightened sages say? Kripaluji Maharaj says, Man ko mano shatru ki sunahu jani kachu pyare. Man ko mano shatru ki sunahu jani kachu pyare. Sunahu jani kachu pyare. Says, don't trust your mind. In the materially bound state, look on it as your enemy. And do the reverse of what the mind says. If the mind says, I want a rasgulla, say, hey Maniram, I will deny you the rasgulla. So in this way, you deny the mind and slowly it comes into the proper size. And if you give it a lift, okay, mood kar raha hai aise kare, mood kar raha hai aise kare, the mind grows faster and faster, bigger, until you realize you have lost control over yourself because you gave too much of space to your mind and the senses that are connected with it. So all this struggle is happening because when the mind is not pure, you are unable to see your real self as the soul. If there is mud in a glass, you are unable to see through it. The same muddy water, put potash alum in it, the mud will settle down and it will become transparent, you can see through. Likewise, Sri Krishna says that now, when the mind has been brought under control through the practice of meditation, it gets purified. And when the mind is purified, you can see the self by realization. Earlier it was Gita says I am the soul, so I am the soul. Now you can see I am the soul, I have a mind. And when the mind wishes to do badmashi, mind says, let me feel depressed about the future. Hey mind, I am not going to be swayed by you. So now you are in the position of control. This is what Sri Krishna has said. With the purified mind, Arjun, the yogi, will now perceive the self as the soul by realization. Next verse. Sukhamatyantikam yattat.
Sukhamatyantikam yattat.
Buddhigrahyamatīndriyam.
Buddhigrahyamatīndriyam.
Veti yatra na chaivayam.
Veti yatra na chaivayam.
Sthitash chalati tattvataha.
Sthitash chalati tattvataha.
Translation. In that joyous state of yoga called samadhi, one experiences supreme boundless divine bliss, and thus situated, one never deviates from the eternal truth. So we are all searching for happiness. Just a few days ago, I went to Apple and spoke on the art and science of happiness, and the next day I spoke in Google on the same topic. The fact is, there can be nobody in this world who doesn't want happiness. The only difference is, where does it lie? We all have different decisions. Some poor fellow, because of wrong company, decided that happiness lies in the cigarette. See, the definition of cigarette that I've heard, nice one, is a pipe with smoke at one end and a fool at the other end. But this fool also is searching for happiness. Only problem is that his intellect has gotten convinced happiness is in the cigarette. There is nobody who can not seek happiness. You say, Swamiji, what about those people who are doing service to others? Are they also seeking happiness? They are wanting to give happiness to others. They don't seem to be seeking happiness. Not really. Their happiness has become different. Par upakar vachan man kaya sant sahaj swabhav khagaraya bhurj taru sam sant kripala parahit sahanit vipati vishala. The saintly nature is they want to give happiness to others. Doing so makes them happy. So they are also looking for happiness, but they've decided my happiness lies in making others happy. And that is why they will hurt themselves to give happiness to others. That is the saints. And then there is one lowest category of people who don't mind hurting themselves to hurt the others. So they have different categories. The lowest category who will hurt themselves to hurt the others. Number 6. Number 5. For their benefit, they don't mind hurting the others. Number 3. For their benefit, this is number 4 now. For their benefit, they will help others. If I get 5 paise, let me give 2 paise to the other guy. Number 3, for their benefit, they will never hurt another. If by hurting others I stand to gain, I am not interested in such gain. So this is what you call a gentleman, at least now the sajjanta has come. And then is the number 2 category, for who start thinking, how do I help others? And then is the number 1 category, who don't mind hurting themselves to help others. And the saints are in this category. So why is it the saints don't want happiness? They want, but they are getting happiness in making others happy. Their motivation is still happiness. And what about the 6th category? So the 5th category are called Manav Rakshasas, who don't mind plundering others for their sake. And for the 6th category, the scriptures say we've got no name. Why is it that anybody will hurt themselves to hurt the others? Because seeing the ruin of others gives them so much of delight that for the sake of their delight, they don't mind hurting themselves. Jo kahu ki dekhi vipati, sukhi bhaye manahu jagan ripati. When they see somebody in calamity, they get so much of delight as if they've become a king. Kahu ki jo sunahi badai, shwas lehi janu judi ai. And if they find somebody prospering, they say, oh my God, so terrible. Do something. If you can't do anything, start a gossip, do something at least. Nowadays, a new phenomenon has started on the internet ever since internet came, trolling. So earlier the gossips, they like to ruin other people. They say, have you heard? Now they start trolling, it doesn't cost anything. Something has been done. You send a tweet. So this is all going on. This is category 5, category 6. You say, why do these people do such nasty things? It gives them pleasure. So from A to Z, everybody is seeking pleasure. And the Vedas are the only such body of knowledge which are explaining why this yearning for pleasure is within us all. Did somebody teach us to seek pleasure? Like we were trained, my child, you must speak the truth, you should not speak lies. My child, you should never steal people's things. So did anybody train us? My child, you should seek happiness. It should not come about that you start running after misery. This instruction was never given to us. It existed within us intrinsically. It is our soul nature to seek happiness. And nobody can cut it. Neither can the saints cut it. Nor can God cut it, nor Maya, nor Kal, nor Karma. Why do we want happiness? If you can understand this, you will then put yourself on the fast track of spirituality. And that is what our scriptures are telling us. Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat. God is the ocean of bliss. Satya Jnanananta Nandamatraika Rasamurtayah. The Srimad Bhagavatam states, the Sri Murti of Bhagavan is Anand. And the Padma Puran says, Anandamatra Karapadamukhodaradi. Bhagavan's face, hands, feet, stomach, they are all made of Anand. Now can you imagine some entity whose body is made of happiness? But that is God. So God is the ocean of bliss. And as His little parts, it's our nature to seek our source. Just like if you throw a stone up, it will fall down. Ever heard of a stone falling up? Never. But nobody ever thought, why do stones fall down? Until Newton was sitting under a tree and an apple fell on his head. And he was the first person to question, why did the apple fall down and not fall up? And he realized that the earth is pulling it. The apple is a part of the earth and the earth is pulling it. So every part is drawn to its source. We souls are parts of the ocean of bliss, who is God. That is why it's our nature to seek bliss. Swami Vivekananda was the first Swamiji to arrive from India to the United States. He used to begin his lectures, O ye children of immortal bliss. You are all little children of immortal bliss, which is God. So the Vedas are explaining why this yearning for happiness is intrinsic to us all. And Sri Krishna is now telling us in this verse that when your mind achieves the state of samadhi, complete absorption, complete purification, and it is held steady in its remembrance of the Supreme, then you experience a boundless divine bliss and you become firm in your resolve, in your faith towards the Absolute. Initially, the faith is an intellectual one. There is a God, I have not seen it, but Swamiji kept on saying, so chalo, let's see. So there's a leap of faith. the experience is not validated. And as you move ahead on this path, you start getting the experience. First a little bliss, then a little more, then a little more. And you get that boundless bliss. Now if somebody tells you that there is no God, poor guy, he doesn't know he's talking such things. Nobody will be able to shake your faith. People say, the strongest thing in the world, is it titanium or whatever it is, tensile strength per gram. But I say the strongest thing in the world is the faith of the saints. The saints' faith is so strong. The whole world will tell them, you are wrong, you are crazy, etc. Their faith will not shift by a micron. And why? Because it is not an intellectual leap of faith. It has been validated by experience. And that experience is the experience of the bliss of God, which will then, Sri Krishna says, make you firmly established in the eternal truth. So Sri Krishna has used an interesting word. You will be established in the truth. Move on. Yallabdva chaparam labham.
Yam labdva chaparam labham.
Manyate nadhikam tatah.
Manyate nadhikam tatah.
Yasmin sthito na dukkhena.
Yasmin sthito na dukkhena.
Guruna pivichalyate.
Guruna pivichalyate.
Translation: having gained that state, one does not consider any attainment to be greater. Being thus established, one is not shaken even in the midst of the greatest calamity. So this is again very interesting. Sri Krishna said, earlier on they get bliss. Now he says that they experience a state where even if calamity befalls them, they remain unshaken. Why does that happen? See, supposing you possessed $10,000 and 5,000 got stolen. You would say, oh my God, my earnings have been reduced to half. Because out of 10,000, 5,000 has disappeared. But if you possessed $1 billion and 5,000 got lost, see, it doesn't matter. It's not worth thinking about again. Why? Because in comparison to your full wealth, 5,000 is now no longer significant. Likewise, the saints are now experiencing this infinite divine bliss. So a little bit of calamity, they say, how does it matter? It is not going to make me deviate from the path. And Sri Krishna says that getting this happiness, they decide there's nothing higher than this. So they prioritize now their values. In the Jain Puran, there's the story of Bahubali. You see, Rishabdev had many sons, out of which to 9 he gave 9 fragments of his kingdom. 81 became Karmakandi Pandits, 9 became Yogeshwars. And the biggest of his sons was Bharat. So this Bharat, he got the inspiration that I should become Chakravarti Samrat, the emperor. And for that, he decided that he will do an Ashwamedh Yajna. He released the horse. So the rule for the Ashwamedh Yajna is that if anybody stops the horse, then you have to fight with that person and conquer him. So when the horse entered his brother Bahubali's kingdom, the other brothers, they had accepted subjugation. Bahubali said, I got the kingdom from my father. Who is he to cast his greedy eye upon it? So he stopped the horse. Now the fight became imminent between Bharat and Bahubali. So wise people said, look, why fight? You are both brothers. Settle it through a wrestling match. It was agreed upon. Without weapons, they will fight. The wrestling match started. The rules of the competition were very clear. No weapons. And Bharat and his younger brother Bahubali, they engaged themselves. But slowly Bahubali started getting the upper edge. Until Bharat realized that he is going to lose to his younger brother. And then in desperation, he invoked a weapon by mantras called Chakra Ratna. That I will use this to kill him. The Chakra Ratna came and just stood there without moving. Bharat had forgotten that this Chakra Ratna could not be used against family members. So the weapon was neutralized. But that annoyed Bahubali tremendously. You broke the rules of the match. He lifted his brother and smashed him on the ground and got onto his chest. And he was about to wrench his neck when all of a sudden he thought, what am I doing? So he jumped off and apologized. I am so sorry. In my greed for the kingdom, I forgot to respect my elders. Fire upon this kingdom which made me behave in such a foolish manner. He just walked off from there and became a renunciant. He said, it's not worth it. My values are different. In my value system, it is more important to be true from inside than to have a kingdom. So that is the alignment to values which happens when your faith becomes stronger. And Sri Krishna is saying out here that having experienced that infinite bliss, now the yogi becomes firmly established. I am fixed in this and nothing can shake me. For Socrates, it is said that he would roam around in the market of Athens looking at things and not purchase anything. And people would ask him that, you roam around in the market and why don't you purchase anything? He said, I just feel nice thinking how many things I don't have need of. My priorities are different. It gives me satisfaction. My experience of detachment is more valuable than the pleasure I'll get from these goods. Next verse. Tam vidyat dukkha sanyoga.
Tam vidyat dukkha sanyoga.
Viyogam yoga sangitam.
Viyogam yoga sangitam.
Sa nishchayena yoktavyo.
Sa nishchayena yoktavyo.
Yogo nirvinna chetasa.
Yogo nirvinna chetasa.
I just noticed this verse has got the word yoga 5 times in it. Translation: that state of severance from union with misery is known as yoga. This yoga should be resolutely practiced with determination, free from pessimism. So, Sri Krishna has defined yoga in so many ways. In one place he says, yoga karmasu kaushalam. When you do work with pursuit of excellence and purity of intention, Arjun, that is yoga. In other places he says, yogina karma kurvanti sangang tyaktvatma shuddhe. Yoga is where you can work without attachment to results. In other places he says, yoga is complete absorption of the mind in God. And now he's saying yoga is severance from misery. So it's actually the same thing. Achievement of bliss and severance from misery. One person says, I'm poor, oh God, please remove my poverty. The other person says, oh God, please make me a billionaire. His poverty is automatically removed. One person says, God, please take away all my miseries. This is the jnani. He wants liberation, mukti. Oh God, there's so many problems in the world, so many troubles, so many miseries. Liberate me. So in Jnana Marg, the ultimate goal is liberation, moksha, mukti. And the path of bhakti, mukti is not the goal. The goal is divine love. Oh God, give me your divine love. And when you get divine love, mukti is an automatic byproduct. When you get the bliss of God, the miseries of the world will automatically go away. But you can definitely start off your journey from here. The Sankhya Darshan says, O soul, think. Why are you suffering in this world? Dukkhatrayabhighata jigyasat tadhabhighatake hetau. Maharshi Kapil writes that everybody is suffering. 3 kinds of miseries. Adhyatmik, Adidaivik, Adibhautik. Adhyatmik miseries from your own body and your own mind. Everybody has got these 2 miseries. If there's somebody who has not, lift your hand. The second kind of miseries, Adibhautik, from other living entities. The first was from your own body and mind. Second is from other living entities. Now a bug has come and bitten you. Now your neighbor is unnecessarily creating problems for you, or your boss, etc. So this is Adi Bhautik. And the third is Adi Daivik. From natural calamities, from external vagaries of the environment. So all 3 miseries are tormenting this soul. So many of the philosophers in India have used this as the launching pad for inquiry. The Buddha himself, his 4 golden truths, says the first golden truth, there is misery in this world. The second golden truth, the misery has a cause. It is not random, there's a reason for it. The third golden truth, the cause of misery is desire. And the fourth is Kamana vinash, dukkha vinash. If you can finish desire, misery will finish. So this was the Buddha's analysis. Maharshi Kapil, he came way before the Buddha. We said, Kutrapi kopi sukhi tadapi dukkha shabalamiti dukkha pakshe nikshipante vivechaka. You start thinking, why am I suffering in this world? This will put you on the quest. And then you will come to the Vedic knowledge, which will tell you that the reason is very simple. You have forgotten your eternal source. Once, I was giving a lecture in India about 30 years ago. It was a different India. My lecture series used to go for 25 days. And everybody would come morning, evening. So when the lecture series got over, one college student who used to come every day, he said, Swamiji, can I accompany you to the next town? I will stay with you, I'll get satsang, I'll do seva. I said, sure, welcome. So next day he came along with, next town he came with me. One day the lecture got over and I said, let's take a walk. So we were going for a walk and he asked me, Swamiji, why did we come here? Why did we come into this world? So I thought of what should I answer him. There was a cinema hall in front. And the night show, in India there used to be an evening show from 6:30 to 9:30 and 9:30 to 12:30 used to be the night show. So the night show had started. I asked him, do you have money for tickets? 2 tickets. He said, yes, Swamiji. I said, buy 2? He said, for whom? I said, for you and for me. He said, you'll see a movie? Yes, in your company. He got 2 balcony seats. And we went into the hall. The show had started. It was all dark. One man with a thin beam torch looked at our tickets and with the beam he said, walk up the stair. So we went up there. We met another usherer with a torch. He looked at our tickets and with the beam he indicated, sit on those 2 empty seats. We went and sat down. Now everybody was absorbed in the movie. Typical Bollywood masala, hero, heroine, policeman, car chase, aeroplane chase. Every minute there was a different drama unfolding. And this boy, within 50 minutes, the movie director had conquered his mind. He completely forgot that I am sitting next to him. So seeing his samadhi, I said to him, hey. He said, shh. I said, listen, don't disturb. So I caught his finger and tugged it. Oh, Swamiji. Now he was so sheepish. I asked him, why did we come here? 15 minutes ago, he had asked me, why did we come here into this world? Now I turned the tables to him. I said, why did we come here into the cinema hall? But his intellect had already failed him. He could not think of an answer. So I said, let's go out now. You'll get the answer to your question. When we went out, I said, look, in the cinema hall, you had forgotten everything. Who you are, what you are doing, who is next to you. And that white light, in those days, the technology was different. So the celluloid, that slide would move 8 times a second. And there was the white light that would pass through, catch colors and fall on the screen. And that you were taking to be the reality. The illusion was complete because of the darkness in the hall. And if the hall manager came and put the lights on, everybody's illusion would be dispelled. Arey, where is my chappal? I hope I have not dropped the keys. Let me be the first one out to get into the scooter stand before the crowd comes. Now you were back in reality. So the illusion was created because of darkness. Likewise, God is like the light. And we have severed our connection with Him. So instead of being in yoga, we are now in viyog. That's the word Sri Krishna used, right? Viyog. We are viyog from Him. And when you turn your back towards the light, what you experience is the darkness, your own shadow. So this darkness of Maya has engulfed us. And that is the reason for our miseries. Because of Maya, we have forgotten that we are souls. And when you forget that you are a soul, then you forget what you are a part of as well. Now our understanding is I am the body, and now the happiness of the body is my happiness. And it goes on and on and on. So all these miseries, the real reason for it is viyog from God. And the real solution for it is yoga. You turn around to God. Now when you enter a hall, it has enter or whatever. And when you wish to get out, the same door has got exit on the other side. So the reason why Maya overcame us, you do the reverse of it. And Maya will go away. So what we need to do then, what Sri Krishna is saying is that those who have now achieved the yoga, all their misery disappears. That state of severance from misery is yoga. So whether you can say achievement of bliss or severance of misery, it is referring to the same thing. Verse number 24 and 25. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman.
Sankalpa prabhavan kamans.
Tyaktva sarvan sheshataha.
Tyaktva sarvan sheshataha.
Manasaivendriyagramam.
Manasaivendriyagramam.
Viniyamya samantataha.
Viniyamya samantataha.
Shanai shanairuparamid.
Shanai shanairuparamid.
Buddhya dhriti grihitaya.
Buddhya dhriti grihitaya.
Atmasanstham manah kritva.
Atmasanstham manah kritva.
Na kinchidapi chintayet.
Na kinchitapi chintayet.
Translation: completely renouncing all desires arising from thoughts of the world, one should restrain the senses from all sides with the mind. Slowly and steadily, with conviction in the intellect, the mind will become fixed in God alone and will think of nothing else. So, Sri Krishna explained what you will get on completing the journey: freedom from misery and attainment of perfect bliss. You will think there is nothing further to be gained. All these he pointed out, Arjun, see, these are the benefits. Now he is telling us how to get there. So he is teaching in a very effective and systematic manner. And here he has come to the point of practice. He says, Arjun, Shanai, Shanai. Slowly, slowly you will reach there. A little child is learning 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. And he finds the college students discussing calculus. He says, my God, how do you do all that? Say, Beta, you just do your standard 1 math and slowly, slowly you will also reach there. So all journeys are accomplished 1 step at a time. It was the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu who said, even the journey of 1,000 miles will begin with a single step. So when we see people who have achieved somewhat of a perfection, we should not become discouraged. Oh my God, this person is already doing that and I am so far behind. We should rather encourage ourselves. If this person could do it, then I can also do it. And how did the person reach that stage? 1 step at a time. How did all of us learn how to walk? Well, the first time when we stood up, we all fell down dhadam. Because the brain had not yet learned how to handle the musculoskeletal system to retain balance. The brain starts learning from ground zero. When the little child, the mummy makes the child sit up, the child will fall off. The mummy keeps holding the child. Because the child has not even learned how to balance the upper trunk as yet. But then they learn that, then they learn how to stand, then they learn how to walk. Now the child walks 3 steps and falls down. Do the parents say, oh my God, my child has fallen? No hope for this child now. They know it's falling is a part of the process of learning. Now he'll fall after 3 steps, then after 7, then after 20, and then he'll start running. And some children ran so fast later on, went all the way up to the Olympics. They all started from ground zero. That is why in my 7 Divine Laws book, I have stated the first divine law is infinite potential. And the second divine law is incremental growth. You will reach there 1 step at a time. One Guruji, he had his ashram in the Himalayas. And a friend monk of his had an ashram about 3 miles away. So at night, he told one of his disciples, tell that sage that I would like to meet him if he can come over. The disciple said, it's all so dark, how will I go there? The Guru gave him a lantern, here, take this. Guruji, the light of this is only going 10 yards. And his ashram is 3 miles away. How will it be any help? Guruji said, right now you can see 10 yards, you walk 10 yards. Then you will see another 10 yards, then you walk more. Then you see another 10 yards, you walk more. And you want the whole thing to be illuminated right now. It's never going to happen. Likewise, some people say, let all the traffic lights to my destination turn green, then I'll start from home. In the spiritual side, people say, let all my questions be clear, then I will start the process. And what is the guarantee when the questions are clear, the intellect will not create 10 more questions? A safer way to do is, whatever I have understood today, let me use it. That way I'll understand more tomorrow. We say, God, please grace me. God says, I have graced you to some extent. You use those graces, then I'll grace you more. We are not using the blessings we have received. And we are saying, God, why aren't you blessing me? Like some people say, Swamiji, all this, I don't get time for bhakti. Supposing I leave it all and go in the Himalayas, will I get time for bhakti? Say, Ari Baba, right now you get 1 hour in your grihasti. You use your 1 hour first. That is the way to progress. So progress is always one step at a time. Remember this and be patient. One of the virtues for success is perseverance. Those who don't have perseverance will never succeed. Oh my God, it has become so difficult. Those who have perseverance will go on. And the second is patience. People are not willing to wait in this instant age where you have got RapidX English speaking course and instant coffee. So people on the internet are promising you $200,000 for 1 hour a day, etc. People say, right, that's the way to do it. I should be the next person to win the jackpot. Only problem is that those who wait for jackpots are actually crackpots. See, the TV will misguide you. That guy will come up on TV and jump up and down, I won the American lotto of $1 billion. But they don't tell you the hundreds of thousands of people who lost. If each of the losers was also given TV time, that you come and just for 2 minutes say, I lost. For the next 9 years, it would not stop. I lost, I lost, I lost. So what are the chances of your winning the American lotto? It is 0.000000001%. And you round it up, it comes to 0. That is why to think I'll wait for the jackpot is behaving like a crackpot. Rather than that, you take it in your hands. I have got this much grace today, let me use it. I have understood this much, let me use it. So don't let the intellect trick you every time. Swamiji's explained, but now I've got one doubt, but now I've got one doubt. So then you'll move from doubt to doubt to doubt to doubt. Instead of that, whatever you have understood, use it to the hilt. That is the way to understand more. So Sri Krishna says by Arjun, slowly, slowly, what will you have to do? Now, this point should not get missed out. He is explaining what you will have to do. He says, with the intellect, slowly, slowly, you push the mind there. Which means what? Initially, the intellect will understand, aha, I am the soul, not the body, God is my goal. The intellect will understand. But the mind will not cooperate. You will have to push the mind there. So what do you tell the mind? Hey Maniram, you don't stay here, you have to stay there. In this, effort will be required. So there will be 3 things you will need to do in sadhana. The first thing is, take your mind away from the world. This is called vairagya. This will require effort. The second is, take it to God. Think of the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. This will also require effort. The third thing will not require any effort. It will happen automatically. What is that? The mind will come away from God and go back to the world. So with great effort, you bought Shyam Sundar in front of you. My mind is meditating on Sri Krishna. And before you realized it, in 5 minutes, Shri Krishna has disappeared. Sham Sundar is no longer there. Beta Sundar is meandering in your mind. Arey, ye kahan se aa gaya? When that happens, people become disappointed. I tried so hard and my mind went back into the world. So remember, this is only natural. Because your mind is made from Maya and the world is made from Maya. They are of the same category. Jagat Guru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj has said, Man Maya te hi banyo, Maya te sansara, Ya te man bhavat sada, Yah sansar asar. This material mind has a natural inclination to the material world. It gets rasa out there. Oh, have you heard about your neighbor? Tell me. What's the matter? Your neighbor's daughter. What about her? Why are you getting so interested? No, tell me, it must be something important. She has started going and doing bhajan. What is so important about that? I thought she is run away or been taken away, some interesting masaledar matter. So the material mind gets material rus from the material world. And now you are forcing the mind to go to God. So the mind has to be forced there. And the rebound is natural. So you try, take the mind away from the world, take it to God, and again it came back. So don't feel discouraged. Again take it away, again put it there. Again it came back. Don't feel discouraged, again take it away, again put it there. This you will have to keep on doing. This is Abhyasa Yoga. Abhyasa Yoga, practice. In English we used to say practice makes perfect. So Abhyasa Yoga is also being used by Maharshi Patanjali. Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tan Nirodha. And Sri Krishna has also used it. So that kind of abhyas or practice is what will be required. And then slowly the success will start coming. See, is there really happiness in cigarettes? It is tamasic happiness. Happiness in the mode of ignorance. The happiness that comes from addictions is tamasic happiness. And yet people get attached. So how did that attachment arise? Practice. It is not that the first day the child said, give me a cigarette, otherwise I can't live. It was created by practice. When that boy went to college and he got newfound freedom, and he found his friends dangling cigarettes, he thought, my God, their personality is looking very impressive. If I also dangle a cigarette, I will also look impressive. So they thought there is happiness. And they smoked it and they found it awful. But they decided, that little kick, that must be the happiness. And the chintan, the contemplation resulted in the mind getting attached. So wherever your mind gets attached, it's the consequence of practice. Now if it can get stuck in cigarettes, will it not get attached to Sri Krishna? Of course it will, if you do enough practice. So with that faith, that optimism, and that determination, Arjun, you move ahead on the path. We have now completed some lot of the journey, and what remains we will now quickly move ahead in the last 2 days of this series. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki